my name is Earl Johnson, and this is my work of art episode about fantasy baseball. Fantasy baseball is a game where you have a roster of Major League Baseball players that are accumulating stats for you each week or season. You are playing against an opponent or multiple opponents who have a similar set of players and who are also accruing statistics for that owner. At the end of the year or week, or even sometimes the day, the statistics are compared, and whoever has more in each category wins that category. So say for instance my team has scored 15 runs in a week and my opponent has scored 20 runs in a week, he would win the category of runs. These also happens for such statistics as home runs, RBIs, batting average, and stolen bases, among many others. For pitchers, there's different categories like wins and saves, strikeouts, and even ERA are all used to accumulate who had a better week as a pitching staff. Another compelling aspect of fantasy baseball is finding a successful player that many people didn't think would be very good. Adam Jones of the Baltimore Orioles is an example of this. He's an outfielder, and he's currently playing in my utility slot, which can be filled by any type of player. His statistics for the year look very good. He's hitting .389, he has 12 runs scored and 11 RBIs. He also has 2 home runs and no steals. The first category you see there is 32%, and that is the percentage of leagues that he's owned in. So not very many people are getting these stats that he's producing, but as you can see from my team, he has some of the best statistics on my whole entire team. Another compelling aspect of fantasy baseball is getting to see different players from different teams and following their stats as well. Many people have a hometown team that they know a lot of the players on the team and they care about how they do. I know when I was growing up in Michigan, that was the Tigers. And I moved to Chicago about 5 years ago, and it's hard not to root for the Cubs. They've been doing really well lately. So I've been rooting for them and I really enjoy following along their games. But fantasy baseball has made the rest of the baseball teams and the rest of the baseball players in MLB a lot more compelling to me, because I want to see how they're doing. I want to see if certain players are doing better and maybe they're not on anybody's team. I might want to pick them up. Also, I always want to root for my own players so I can get the most statistics out of them. You also want to see how your opponent is doing. So fantasy baseball makes all players in Major League Baseball much more important and much more compelling to the sport. Whereas if you're not in fantasy baseball, you may follow one team, or maybe not even at all. You may not even care about baseball at all. Another compelling aspect of fantasy baseball is the different kinds of leagues there are. Some leagues have statistics that just count up, and the person who has the most at the end of the week wins that category. Others have special characteristics where you get to keep players from previous teams and add them onto the next year's team. This is a different kind of fantasy baseball game. This is called score sheet. In this game, a team owner will set up a defense based on the players they have on their team, and at every half inning then, the other team will come up to bat. Okay, so you set up a lineup as well with your players. Then, the statistics from the previous week are used to actually create a baseball game. As you click the mouse, something will happen to the player. Derek Lee doubles. Next batter, Chris Iannetta. Strikes out. 1 out. Manny Ramirez hits a single. Runners on first and third, that's where the yellow is, and then a guy at the plate who's trying to hit them in. He does not. 2 outs, runners on first and third, and it's all based on what this player did last week. Chase Headley, last week, had a good week. He doubles in both runners. So 2 runs scored, and you can see they are added to the total up at the top. So the Chicago Spartans are now winning 4-0. Another aspect that makes fantasy baseball compelling is the competition factor. When you are competing against friends or relatives, you have a lot more on the line than if you're just playing against people you don't really know. So you want to do more work to try to improve your team. And this is some of the behind the scenes thing that goes on with fantasy baseball. You have to research who's doing well lately, who got hurt, who's getting called up from the minors. Lots of different things that can help improve your team. This season, I invited my girlfriend to play in the league with me, and I've really enjoyed being able to talk baseball with her a lot more. So I hope you've enjoyed my report on fantasy baseball. I encourage you to go out and join a free league. They're available through yahoo.com or espn.com, and give it a shot. If, like I said before, if you can sign up with some friends or some relatives, it will make the game much more compelling. You'll also find yourself following Major League Baseball much more, and not only rooting for your home team, but also rooting for a few select players that are in other teams in Major League Baseball.